Hey guys, if you're wondering to overhaul completely your existing WordPress news website, or if you're planning to launch your brand new digital magazine website, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I'm about to dispel all the confusion you might have regarding the selection of your ideal theme for your brand new digital magazine website. Alright, Mystery Themes now presents you Ogma, a theme catered for digital news, magazine, and newspaper websites. You might be inundated with already hundreds and thousands of magazine websites that has been populating the WordPress landscape. And you might be at the crossroads for selecting the ideal one, your ideal match. So worry not. I'm about to make your life even much simpler. Well, what differentiates Ogma from the rest of its contemporaries, and why do you still want to select Ogma over its counterparts? Ogma actually serves you all the key ingredients to concoct an amazing and stunning and aesthetically pleasing website that shall captivate your user in a fly right off the bat. So what differentiates Ogma from its counterparts? Well, it has different category color options, typography options, layout options, and you name it, it has it. It's WPML compatible, it's Gutenberg compatible, it's GDPR compliant. It has different reordering, has made reordering different blocks of its sections pretty easier. Yes, that's Ogma for you, my friends. So what are you still waiting for? Go head over to the Mystery Themes website, the official website, and you can just instantly make a purchase. Alright, so I'm assuming that you've already made your purchase. I'm going to guide you through, I'm going to navigate you through the anatomy of the Ogma Pro theme website, how you're going to make it. Alright, so at first all you got to do is head over to your admin page by entering your login credential. This is the dashboard, how it looks like. And from the sidebar, all you got to do is hover over the appearance from the sidebar menu and click on the customize button. After you do that, you'll be quickly prompted to the theme customizer setting. Just be patient, buddy. It will be loaded. That's actually a preloader. That's how we display before your page is fetched from the server. Yeah, you actually also have the option to change and configure settings for your preloader. I'll tell you that in an instant. Don't you worry about it. So as you see here, they are actually, just collapse this sidebar. Alright, so here you go. This is Ogma from top to bottom. Now I'm about to tell you about the different sections. I'm about to make evident the glossaries of Ogma. The section, what are they called, how you access those settings particularly, so that you can play around them and create an aesthetically appealing website of your liking, of your choice. Alright, so let's begin. As you can see, the topmost section here, the newsletter, training authors menu items, they're actually located on the top area header menu. This is called top area header. And not just the menus, they're also available date and time and some social icon settings. There are actually 6 social icon displayed at the top of the top area header. Not just display menus there. You actually have 3 menu locations in Ogma theme. This is top area header, this is actually main area header or primary header, and you can actually also choose to display your menu at the footer location like here. I'll explain how to do that in an instant. Just be patient with me. I'll be there for you every step, don't worry. As you can see here, this is actually the logo that actually differentiates this website from all the different counterparts that's available online in the internet. So be very mindful to choose like an appropriate logo or slogan that aptly aligns with your vision, with your thought. So yeah, you can actually also choose to display an advertisement block after you have monetized it, just adjacent to the site itinerary section. And just below that is main area header menu that I've already mentioned before, where you can display different category options which can navigate your prompt your users to a different archives page belonging to a particular category. I know it might not make sense to you right now, but just bear with me. Everything will start falling in place. Everything will make sense in a while. You can also have a toggle option to just switch the mode of your site. There's also a search icon. There's also a hamburger icon, which is actually to enable this sticky sidebar. All right. Besides, you also have been available a custom button, which you can sort of customize according to your preference. Right now, you have a button that self-prompts you to your WordPress channel. You can actually sort of configure the setting, the style of the button as well. And the most important part of a news website, the key ingredient, is the news sticker section. Can you imagine a WordPress news website or any news website per se without a news sticker provision? Like, won't it look very shady without a news ticker option? It actually highlights the key post that you want to highlight at the top of your page. So yeah, that's news sticker for you guys. And unlike its contemporaries, Ogma actually allows you to display news sticker not just for your home page, but at every post available, in your website. Just below the news sticker section, this is actually main banner. A main banner actually had two parts. This is the main slider, and this part is actually a news block where you can, display 3 posts at max. But having said that, you can always choose to display or configure a different layout altogether for the main banner section as well. And yeah, and just below the main banner section, you actually have a different section from the front page settings, from front page area, which is actually called top full width. Like the name suggests, top full width section actually traverses and spans the entire width of your screen, like you can see here. In contrary to the top full width section, there are actually a different section which is called middle content or bottom content. Now the quick hack to remember the differentiate between these two sections, which is either full width or content, is that top full width or middle full width or bottom full width, all this section actually spans throughout the entire width of your screen, whereas the content block section, just hang a second before I confuse you. I'd like to show you the section here. I was exactly talking about them. So like you can see here, the middle content, the bottom content, exactly these two sections do not span throughout the entire width of your screen, as you can see here. Instead, they allow some room or to accommodate, the display of different sidebars, like you can see here. It's actually middle content just below the top full width section, like here. So coming back to the middle content section, like I already mentioned before, middle content do not span the entire width of your screen, and it accommodates or allows the display of different sidebars. And you can always configure the display of that sidebar of that particular section by clicking on the very pencil icon you can see here. Just click on that pencil icon and voila, it's there. You're prompted right there. And you can actually, you can upload any blocks or widgets if you want to display that at that particular sidebar. All right, let's quickly head over to our next section. So just below the middle content section, you have middle full width section, like here. Can you see the difference here? There's a sidebar up to this area, whereas the area just below that, it actually covers the entire span. So this is actually a middle full width section, my friend. If you want to sort of edit that, just click expand the icon, sidebar icon, and then click on the pencil icon if it's available there. If not, all you gotta do is head over to front page settings and click on the middle full width section, right? So as you can display, click on the setting gear icon. I can see that feature and events, like sort of erase it or modify it, and the changes are displayed live. You can see that, right? So yeah, it actually allows 5 different layout options So you can choose any one of your preference to sort of, play around with your settings by yourself. My job or my responsibility is only to guide you through these settings, and it's all up to you. It's your autonomy to change the way you want it to display, play with it around the settings, and yeah, that's it. I'll tell you about it in depth and after that. Don't be worried about it. And just below the middle, full page section, you have the bottom content section, and in between there's an advertisement block. And the fun fact is you can display as much ad block as you want to display, like obviously based on the number of affiliation you have with different advertisement companies. You can monetize it and display as much as you want. Actually, there are different sections where you can upload or display your banner advertisement. Alright, so coming back to the middle, bottom content section, you can actually display a sidebar. This is actually here, a left sidebar. Click on that pencil icon to configure and settings, bottom left. As you can see here, it's front page bottom left sidebar. This one actually. The reason why these two widgets are named front page, sidebar, it's just because that they are only displayed for the front page and not the inner pages. So just be mindful of that. So guys, let's quickly recap what we have learned so far. They would just collapse the sidebar and let us revise everything that we learned so far, right from the top. So like I told you before guys, this is the top of your header section, where you can not just display menus, but also, social media icons, so that you can, help connect with your user base, and also, display time and date as well. Just below that, there is a site identity section where you can just display, your slogan or logo, but in fact, you can choose to display font or text instead, or both. It's totally up to you. And based on the number of affiliation you have with different advertisement forms, you can also choose to display advertisement blocks here after you monetize your blocks. And just below that, there is the media header menu section, where you can display as much menus as you want, but make sure that all the menus that you've displayed in the media header menu, which is in fact a sticky header, like you're seeing here right now. You can see the difference. When you scroll it down, it actually gets stuck and fixed at the top of your page. Just make sure that you've placed some relevant menus here. If you click on this category, you'll be prompted to the archives page. We'll be displayed all the pages that shall belong, or that has belonged to the categories. All right. Now let us go back to the home page. This is actually the Breadcrumbs section. You can click it here, or just go from the menu and just click it here. All right. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, like I said before, just the toggle to switch your mode of the site. Let me switch it back to light mode. This is the search icon. This is, like I said, a switch to enable the stick sidebar. You also have a custom button. You can add any design that you want, any link you want. Yeah, that's the functionality of it. So below that, there's a new sticker section where you can display, posts belonging to a particular category. Just be mindful that you cannot display posts by titles. All you can display here is display posts belonging to different categories or categorically. This you display it here. Like I said before, this is the front page section, where this is the main slider and this are the main blocks. Okay, and just below that, this is actually the top page section, where, like I said before, you can display content or any blocks on the different sections that spans through the entire width of your screen. Did you notice there's also a ad block in between the front page block? You can always do that. Just click after you open your theme customizer setting. Just click on the front page settings and the top width section. Click on that, and like you see here, you can actually add any block as you want. Just click on new block, and for example, if I want to add a new carousel, just click on that. You can actually choose to reorder it, and place it wherever you want. It's totally up to you. And yeah, this flywheel gear icon, you can click it to expand it and sort of, change or configure any settings. Like you're saying here, there are 5 layouts for every block that's made available to you at your disposal. You can sort of like, choose any layouts you want. Let me just choose the layout number 2. All right, just hang on. So yeah, this is how it looks like, a different layout. And there are also different, options, toggle options to enable or disable post categories list, author, date, comment, and all of that. You can also choose to display multiple number of posts than the default amount, which is 3. Let me just display 4 posts here. All right, can you see that? That's what it has done actually. Now you're wondering, like how does the Ogma theme decide which post, visual post to display on a particular block category? Well, you can do that by click on the pencil icon next to the block query. You can see here, you can either choose, multiple categories or a single category and you display them, or you can either choose to display post based on the date, published date. By default, it has been enabled. The date filter has been enabled. So yeah, it has been actually displaying post from the newest to the oldest one. Let me just quickly change that and only display the post belonging to the sports category. Have a look. All right, that's how it's done. Let me just quickly close it. And yeah, in fact, more options. There are a few more toggles to enable or disable. So carousel control, enable carousel item, and enable carousel auto mode. If you disable it, here is how it's actually displayed. Alright, so you can actually play the settings actually pretty similar to all of the blogs. If you want to delete a particular blog, just click on this icon again, and just scroll down to the bottom and click on remove. It will instantly remove without any hassle. And let's go back to the main settings. Then yeah, even if there are content blocks like I mentioned before, which accommodate sidebars, you can actually first navigate to that particular front page block and click on the manage right sidebar, and you'll be easily prompted to that sidebar where you can add, modify, or delete any widgets or blocks which are displayed there by default. All right, that's as simple as that. It's a piece of cake. Once you start identifying different sections with their accurate glossary and you start referencing them correctly, it's a piece of cake. Like, you can do whatever you want. Alright guys, now that you've understood the nuts and bolts of the Ogma theme, I'm about to spill some beans regarding the settings of the Ogma Pro theme. You know the drill, right? You know how to open the theme customizer settings. First you have to head over to your admin page, log in with your login credentials, and then from the sidebar, navigate to Appearance, Customize, and then you'll be prompted to this screen which you're seeing right now. Alright, let's begin with general settings. As you can see here, there are a lot of options that you can configure to, manipulate different settings. Again, number 1, site style. There are 3 different options in order to manipulate your site style settings. Number 1 is container layout. We've selected the separate container layout. For right now, you can choose any 3 given there. The main container width allows you to, change the width values by sliding left or right. Let me just slide to 1281 as a random or binary value. And the side mode here, like you may be wondering, like here you've given or provided a side mode as well that you already provided in your header menu. Why are you being provided 2 different menus doing that? Well, there's a thin line between them actually. From the theme customizer settings under side mode section, as an admin, you can choose to set the default mode for your website. If you choose to, set it as dark mode and you choose to publish it here, next time when your user opens your website, dark themes are the default one, and based on their preference, they can toggle it back to the light mode. Got me right? So that's it, as easy as that. Next we have Preloader, as the name suggests. Sometimes it might take some time to reload or fetch your resources from the server. So during that gap, GIF icon is being displayed, like you can see here. So it's up to you what GIF do you want to get displayed in your user devices. So that's Preloader layout for you guys. So you have to enable it, toggle it in, and select any of the 14 pre-auto layouts you're given here. Next is social icons. Social icons. It's a very crucial ingredient for your website because it allows you to connect the user base, to all the social media platforms by placing the icon and links at the top area header. Here, there are by default 6 social icon header icons at the header menu. You can choose to display more, less. All you gotta do is first open your, team customizer settings and head over to general settings, social icons, and then on the general tab, you can first expand the tab, and you can add any icon with your preference. Collapse it. After you've done, just click on the publish button, and then you're set to go, buddy. That's it. If you want to add new icon, press besides the default 6 icons available to you, click on the add new icon here, and voila, it's done. Add social media URL, just copy and paste the social media URL page, and then social media label. If you want to add some extra label, you can do that. And here's an option to actually add social media icon. There are tons available here. Just make your choice wisely. All right. On design tab, you actually can set a different social media layout. Let's use layout number 1 here, like you can see on screen. You also choose to set different sizes for different devices. Just be mindful of that. There are 3 different icons here just next to icon size, which means that whenever you select a particular icon for a device, the desktop icon by default, this size that you've changed is only going to be applicable to the desktop devices. If you want to change your size, let's say to tablets, then what you gotta do is change a different size and publish it. As easy as that. And next we have a social icon color type. Every social media icon has the official color. If you want to choose that, if you want to select that or set that, just click on that. As you can see here, it will be changed to the default social media icon color. Totally up to you guys. And last but not the least, we have social icon visibility. Like the name says again, do you want your icon to be displayed to all the different devices, be it desktop, tablet, mobile, or do you want only visual icons to be displayed on desktop and tablets or mobile? It totally depends, up to you. Just select that or unselect that based on preference. You cannot unselect desktop. It's always going to be selected by default. Just be mindful of that. If you wanna additionally, display your social media icons on the tablet or mobile devices, just select that and click on the publish icon at the top. That's it, buddy. And what else? Typography. Typography again is used to manipulate the font of your entire site layout. For example, the body section is actually only applicable to the body fonts. In order to make you understand well, let me just go to inner page. All right, close this one. Okay, so first we have font family. You can always choose to change your font family to your preference. It'll be like displayed here. Next we have font weight. In order to change the font size, you can say that weight is more of a size. Font semi-bold, medium, it'll be instantly displayed there. Extra bold, it depends on your choice. Then we have font style. You can either choose to display it, in italic form or inherit form. That's how they look. We have also font transform option where you can choose to lowercase it or capitalize it. By capitalize, what I mean is every initial letter of the word is capitalized. So if you want to display like that, just choose that and save it. It just set it to inherit right now. Font decoration, like, yeah, you just have two different options. There's underline or line through and inherit by default. So if you choose to underline it, every content, like each word of your content will be underlined. If you want to have a strike through or a line through, you just choose that, but let's just choose inherit for now. You also have font size and font line options. You can change, you can play with the different font sizes according to your preference. Slide left to right, and it's done. Just be mindful of that. I've actually chosen, desktop devices. So this font size change won't be applicable to tablets or mobile devices. For that, you've got to click that icon and solder publish it. Right? So that's it, buddy. What next we have? Font line height. Again, if you want to change or increase or decrease the font line height, all you got to do is slide left to right to increase the spacing between the vertical spacing between the two lines. Can you see this? This is this looks terrible. So let me just switch back to revert back to the original default value, which was 1.8, I guess. 1.2 is 1.8 is fine. Can also choose to align. Sorry. And let's just increase the values to 1.8. Alright. Again, now you have this font color option where you can change the font color as well. All you gotta do is click on that icon and make your choice from the available palette if you want to, display the color font. Yeah. It is done. Alright guys, now that you will learn to manipulate font settings for your body section, let's quickly move on to the next one, which is the heading tab. You can access heading tab from general settings and clicking on typography section and then clicking on the heading tab. For the uninitiated, there are altogether 6 heading tabs, each one being the largest one, whereas the asset being the smallest one, and for the SEO purpose, just be mindful of that. You just have one H1 type for your one web page. You should not have more than one H1 type for your web page, else it would create a conflict, and you receive a backlash from a SEO perspective. Nevertheless, in order to change font settings for any one of those tags, just click on, let me just click S2 tag for now. Can you see this pop up? The heading here with related post, it's actually wrapped under S2 tags. And if you want to change it, all you gotta do is, like I mentioned before, if you want to change the font family, just scroll down and click on the font family of your choice, and voila, it's done. You can change the font family as your preference. Then you have font weight, like I mentioned before. Do you want to set it to regular 400 or do you want to just set it to inherit? It's really up to you. Likewise, you also can change font style, transform, and decoration, like I just mentioned before. If you want to change the font size, increase or decrease it, you can also do that by sliding right or left. Again, like I mentioned before, you can set the font size for different devices by clicking on this icon for tablet icon, and that for mobile devices as well. If you want to increase the font height, you can also do that by sliding left or right. In order to change the color, just click on that icon next to font color, and then from the available palette, click on the your preferred color, and well, it's done. As easy as that. Now let's quickly move on to the next part, which is primary menu. To remember, there's 3 actually menus provided on this website. The top here, header menu, there's a primary menu, and there's a footer menu as well. Now this primary menu allows you to change or manipulate font settings for primary menu, which is this portion, the one that I'm highlighting right now. So in order to change that, you can manipulate font setting likewise. Let me just try change font size to make it evident. We can see that. Alright, it's pretty easy, right? For the next one, Frontpage blocks. Alright, you want to change the Frontpage blocks. Let's first head out to the Frontpage settings. Click on the icon and on link. Alright. Now, in order to change the font settings for these particular headings of all those Frontpage blocks, click on the heading tab, and then you can manipulate the font settings for the heading section of different font blocks. As you can see here, the default font color value here is green in color. Let's just change that. First, click on the font color palette and choose any arbitrary color value, and it's done. Yeah, you can see there, right? Have you noticed the font color here for this blocks aren't changed, although it is the header for the frontpage block section? You might wonder why. It's due to the layout that's being used, that's being applied for this particular sections. If you've used a layout, or if you've applied a layout that requires the header to be superimposed or overlapped over the background image, then in that case you cannot change the font color. Alright, just be aware of that. Make sure you don't use that layout if you want to change the font color, or just leave it that way. That's it, buddy. Now let's head out to the next section, which is about breadcrumbs. Now, what comes to your mind when I say the word breadcrumb? I'm pretty sure back in your school you might have read the story of Hansel and Gretel and how they've left a trail of breadcrumbs to find their way out back to their home into the forest. Breadcrumbs here in this theme also have similar functionality. If you're lost inside the site hierarchical structure, you can always find your way back to your home by using these breadcrumbs. So in order to change the general settings and the design for the breadcrumbs, you can either set it to default or select any of the one values from the drop-down item. You can also set the visibility for breadcrumbs for different devices. By default, it has been selected for desktop and tablet. If you want to make it visible for mobile devices as well, you can select it, or you can unselect it as well. Let me just unselect it for tablet and mobile devices for now. Under the design panel, you can also choose to change the text color for the breadcrumb section. All you gotta do is click on the palette next to text color section, and then you can set the color of your choice for your breadcrumbs from the color palette option here. Besides, you can also choose to change the background color for the breadcrumbs here. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, it's done. After making all the changes, do not forget to click on the publish button at the top to make the changes live on your website. Alright. Now let's move on to the next section, which is called post section. Well, like the name suggests, it actually encapsulates some settings to change the date style, formats, and thumbnail hover effect for the post that's displayed on the front page. Let's assume that you want to display your post on the basis of their published date. You can, under post date style, you can click on the published date. If you want to display published post based on the updated date, you can also do that by selecting the updated date option from the drop down menu. Besides, can you see the difference here? Up to 30 is when this post was updated last time. Alright, when I click on the published date, you get a different date here. If the post is updated on the same published date, then of course it's going to be the same. It's a no-brainer, right? Under post for date format, you can also change the date format by clicking on the theme format one, which is a slightly different date format setting. Well, can you see that? 1 month ago. That's how it's going to be displayed if you select the theme format one, but I'm going to stick with the first one that is the default by WordPress. Besides, you can also choose to change the hover effect. You have altogether 3 hover effects, 1, 2, 3. Let me just select the hover effects 3. You can also choose to enable or disable post reading times, which is visible here at the top left of your thumbnail, by just turning off or on this enable post reading time section. Just be patient, and it's done, right? And just toggle back it on, and let's move on to the next section, which is the sidebar layout. Now, sidebar layout is one of the crucial sections in order to tweak and configure your sidebar settings. Now, you have different sidebar layout settings for different post types. If you want to change your sidebar layout for front page, you have here. You can do it here by just clicking on any of the 5 sidebar layouts that's been provided. Just scroll down to the bottom, and as you can see, you have 2 sidebar here, left and right, put sidebars, which is corresponding to this one. If you want to select no sidebar center, then both sidebars will be disappeared from here. It's gone, right? As easy as that. What about archive sidebar layout? Now, to understand archive sidebar layout, you gotta understand what is archive page, to be precise. The archive pages are the web page that has the collection of the old published content that either belongs to same category, tags, or to a particular group. In order to make it clear, we just head over to the crime category. Well, this crime category page is also an archive page that has the collection of the old published content belonging to the crime category. Now, as you can see here, I've enabled the first one sidebar layout, which is right sidebar, which is corresponding to this one. If you want to select a different one, I can click on the both sidebar layout, and which actually shows by sidebar layout here. And like you see here, both sidebar appears corresponding to this one. And what about this enable sticky sidebar? What does this mean? If you enable it, what it basically does is it actually, it attaches your sidebar to a fixed position when you scroll it down. Can you see it? Do you see that? This sidebar layout gets fixed to that particular position if you enable it. But what about if you disable it? Well, if you disable it, it won't be fixed there. Yeah, just like that. Won't be fixed there, alright? You got it. What about search sidebar layout? Well, when you search something from the header, primary header, you'll be prompted to a search page. Now, in order to configure that sidebar layout for that page, you gotta select any one of the sidebar layout. What about post sidebar layout? Well, it actually determines or configures the sidebar layout for individual post or in a page. Let me just do it for you right now. By default, number one, right sidebar has been enabled. If you want to disable it, you can just click it on sidebar center, or click on any of the 5 sidebar layouts that are being provided here. As you can see here. Wait a minute. This is a post, right? So I gotta click on this one. Well, voila, it's done. So that's sidebar layout for you guys. You can similarly configure the sidebar layout setting for the pages as well. Now, don't forget to click on the publish button. At least I've been telling you on and on about it. Yeah, it's very crucial. After you make your changes, just do not forget to click on this publish button to make your changes live on your WordPress site. What about the scroll top section? Well, scroll top section is actually an icon that gets enabled when you scroll to a certain depth. You can see that of your web page. In order to configure that, you can change the different icon. Altogether, there are 12 icons for scroll top. You can change any one of your preference. If you want to add some label, you can add it. You can also change the icon size by sliding left or right the slider, and you can also set the visibility for scroll top. If you want this scroll top to be visible on all the devices, or you just want that to be visible on certain devices, you click on this icon as per your preference. What about the alignment? You can also set the alignment. If you click it on center, it will be at the center. If you click it on left, it will appear on left, at left. Let me just do it, click on right. What about the design tab? Well, you can also add the color for scroll top, which is blue in color by default. You can also choose the hover color by clicking on the color palette. Let me just choose any one color and switch you guys. Whenever you hover over the scroll top, the color is going to be changed. More of a lime color, I guess. Yes, you can see that. There are also other options to change the border type to solid dash or dotted from the drop down list menu. You can also add some padding or decrease some padding from these options. And there's also border radius section where you can add more radius from the corners by increasing or decreasing the value from here. Now let's move on to the next section, which is the color section. Well, it's divided into base colors and categories colors. Let's start from the base colors. There are actually 4 main colors: primary, text, link, and link cover colors. What's primary color? Primary color is the color that primarily affects the aesthetics of your website. That's the background color of the primary header menu, some tag colors. Yes, let me just show it to you guys by selecting any one color from the available color palette. Yeah, this is how it looks when you change the primary color or set the primary color to more of a reddish orange color. Do you see that? The difference it makes here. There's also text color, link hover color. So you can change that according to your preference. More importantly, there are categories colors. In order to differentiate the different categories that you've created for your website, you can select or set different colors for all the categories that you've created. Right now, I've only created 5 categories: crime, food, sports, tech, and travel. You can add more categories and consequently set colors for them. Let me just set a color for sports category for now. Let me set just, which color shall I select? All right, pink maybe. You see that it has changed, the color has changed actually. So that's actually how categories colors are used and implemented. Then move on to the next section, which is background. You can also add background to your website, but in order to add a background and make it visible for your users, just be sure to use an appropriate layout so that the background image gets exposed to the user. In order to do that, let us first move on to the general settings, site style. You can either choose box layout in order to expose the background image you've chosen for your website. Hang on, can you see that? In order to highlight it more, you can decrease the box container width so that it gets exposed from both the sides. Just hang on, buddies. Yeah, do you see that? This is how it looks when you decrease the box container width and select the container layout. If you either choose full width or separate width, which actually spans the entire width of your website or your screen, you won't be able to see the background image that you set for your website. There's a slight difference. Just be mindful of that, alright? Now let us move on to the next section. Let me just remove the image and revert back to the original settings, site style, full width, okay? Alright. Now the next option we have here is button. You can actually customize your button and the design by adding different border, button padding, and border radius as well. What about the next one is performance. Now it's a key feature, it's a key ingredient for Ogma actually. Your theme or your website should not just be aesthetically appealing, but it should also be appealing to crawler and search engine as well. In order to do that, you should make sure that you enable this Make a Website Schema Ready toggle on, so that Ogma would create the schema, markup schema at the back end, and spare yourself all the hassle by creating a manual schema, because Ogma is gonna do that for you at the back end. You can also choose to minify CSS and JS. It actually removes the redundant, white spaces or semicolons, all of the redundant characters, without tweaking or changing the functionality of your CSS or JS files. It actually increases the accessibility, saves some bandwidth for your users. So yeah, you can toggle that on. And don't forget to publish it as well to make your changes live. So that's it for the general settings. Now we move on to the next section, which is header setting. And like I mentioned before, there are 3 headers provided by Ogma. That is top header, this is the main area header, and this one is the footer one. Alright, footer location, where you can choose to display your header. Those 3 are header locations. Sorry, not the header, but header locations. So let's change the setting for top area. You can see at the top, you can either choose to enable top area altogether or disable it. If you choose to disable it, it would disappear from your front page or from your web page totally, and you do not need to configure any settings. First of all, make sure you've enabled or toggled on the enable top area option, and then you can either choose to enable or disable the date, which is displayed here. Let me just disable it for right now. As you can see, it gets disabled. If you turn it on back, you can actually get to choose the date format as well. How do you want to display your date? You can select anyone from this drop-down list. All right. You can also enable or disable time according to your preference. Enable top menu as well. If you choose to disable the top menus, these menus can't be disappeared. Understand me? How about adding those menus? How do you sort of add those menus at the top area header location or any other area header location per se? What you gotta do is you either just click on that pencil icon there. Can you see that? And you can just choose to set a menu for that particular header location. Right now the top header, so I've chosen this top menu. And just be mindful that this top menu and main menu, we've created it manually. In order to create that entirely, all you got to do is, first of all, open your theme customizer, click on the header settings, and either you can do it from there or just click on the menus from the theme customizer settings and create menu. Click on that button and give a menu name for it. Let us say top menu 1. Sorry. Alright. So where you want to display this top menu 1? Do you want to display at the top header location, primary location, footer location? Let me just display it for the top header location. Let me just check that box. Click on next. Now, what items do you want to add on it? You can either add custom links, pages, posts, categories, or tags. You have 5 different options to add. Let me just add some, maybe add just one home page, maybe add one post, and maybe let us just add 1 or 2 categories. Maybe, yeah, just 2 categories. Yeah, that's it. We've created our new menu, which is called top menu 1. Let us choose to publish that. All right. If you click on publish button, you will display here. As you can see, top, home, food, sports. Now that we've changed our top menu altogether, you can now move on to the next part. Where will we? Header settings, top area. Yeah, enable social icons. You can also choose to enable or disable social icons by toggling on and off this option. If you choose to toggle it off, the social icons can be disappeared from your top area header. If you toggle it on, you can manage the social icons by clicking on here, and you'll be prompted to the settings for managing social icons, which you can also access from general settings. All right. All you gotta do is, like I mentioned before, you gotta add it. You gotta choose one icon from the available list, add a URL, and add some label according to your choice. If you don't want to display a particular icon, just expand a particular panel and delete that. All right. You can delete this. Never mind. Let us just delete that right now. Here are settings again. Let us go back to where we were before. Here is settings, top area. Now what about design tab? You can also choose to change and configure the design settings for it as well. Content placement. Now you can actually change the order of display for the items that gets displayed for the top area header. Let me just click on the third option where the date shall be displayed first, followed by top menu and then social icon. That's a unique feature for Ogma. You can just shuffle the order according to your preference. What about the next section, site identity? Like I mentioned before, you can choose to just upload the icon of your choice, logo of your choice, or you can just display a site title or tagline. All up to you guys. You can also choose to increase or decrease the logo width. By the way, do you see these icons hanging on there? Just be mindful again of those icons. If you choose on a particular icon, which is just a tablet icon, and change the logo width, the logo width change will only be applicable to the tablet devices and not the other two devices. Always be thoughtful and just be aware of that. You can also change the side icon image. Well, what are side icons? Side icons are these small icons that gets displayed on your Google tabs, your bookmarks, or even SERPs. It actually plays a vital role to differentiate your website from the other entities online. So again, take utmost care to upload a relevant side icon there. Now that you've set your side icon, let's quickly move on to the next section, which is the main area header. I'm skipping this header image because it's just an option to add your header image, which gets displayed this top of it, top of this top area header. Right now I'm not displaying any top area header image before it, above it, but you can choose to display one. So what about main area header? Well, you got a lot of options here to enable or disable header sticky, sidebar switcher, search icon, sidebar toggle. What does header sticky means? It actually, if you enable it, it sticks your top area header at the top when you scroll down to the bottom. Let me just show it to you. Do you see that? How it gets fixed at the top. If you disable it, it won't be there anymore. Do you get that? You can also enable or disable side mode switcher by toggling on or off. If you toggle it off, this side mode switcher is going to be disappeared from your user's UI. Let me turn it back on. You can also enable or disable search icon from here, and last but not the least, you can enable sticky sidebar toggle. If you toggle it off, this hamburger icon is going to be disappear from your top area header. If you toggle it on, it's going to be up here. What it does, you might be wondering, if you click it on, you will be quickly prompted to a sidebar sticky here, sticky sidebar. Close that. You can also choose to manage that sidebar by clicking on this manage sidebar from here button, and you'll be quickly prompted to the widget area section where you can add, or delete any block by clicking on this add option and clicking any block of your choice. What would you want to add here? Latest post. Search that and just click on it. Now when you click on this hamburger icon, a new latest post is going to be up here again. Likewise, do you see that? Let me just close it and hit back to where we were before. We need a header. So talking about the custom button, as you are provided this custom button, you can also choose to change the setting and the layout for it as well by configuring the setting for normal colors and hover colors as well. Let me just change the hover color for this custom button. Whenever you hover over this button, color is going to be changed, as you can see that. And by the way, have you noticed this small tags appearing in front of these menus? What are they and how you set them? There might be cases where you want to highlight some menus like recently downloaded or trending options, trending menus. In order to do that, first of all you gotta do is open up your theme customizer settings, click on this menus, and if you want to change the tag for this top area header menu, click on this top menu. And wait a minute, this actually is a main menu, not a top menu. So where are we? Currently set to main menu. Yeah, right, this one. Now, if you want to change this tag, all you gotta do is click on this particular menu item, which is sports, expand that, and then under this description section, all you gotta do is change the text for it. Trending, you got it right. After doing all the changes, do not forget to publish it as well. So let's get back to where we were before. Main area, and yes, now design settings. You can also choose to change the different layout, main area layout, from the 4 available options. Right now the layout number 1 is set by default. You can choose anyone, putting a preference as well. By the way, have you noticed something really shady there? The moment when I click the layout number 2, the item color, the items from the primary area header just disappear. Actually, it didn't disappear, but the color for the primary area header was white by default. And when you select this layout number 2, it camouflages. The background, the foreground color becomes the same and it disappears. How do you change the color for the primary area header menu items? All you have to do is head back, click on this primary menu, and under the design tab, click on that. There is a section for menu item color and sub menu item color. Change the color to any other color that creates a contrast from the background. Let me just click and set a green color. Can you see that? How do you change this sub-item menu color when it actually disappears? So also change the sub-menu item color. In order to do that, like I just click on it and just select any one color. And hang on there. It reappears, right? And when you hover it, again, you also have to change the hover color as well, which is set white by default. Just select any one color according to your preference. That's to the aesthetics of your website. And when you click on it, it changes to pink in color. Get it, right? And what about the what happens to the sub-menu items when you hover over it? Again, you got to change the color for the sub-menu item as well. Change any one color, set any one color. And when you do that, the color changes as well. You got me, right? So that's how this primary menu settings is used. You can also change the description color for this one to any other color according to your preference. If you choose to display it in green color, green orange color, it's gonna be displayed likewise, okay? So you get that. Where were we again? Okay, all right. I think we've done with this portion. Now the only item that's left to discuss is background type. You can also set the background type either to color or image for this primary data header. You set the color, then color is going to be displayed at the background for the, like you can see here. But I'm not going to display anything, so I'm going to set it to none. Again, don't forget to click on the publish button. Let's move on to the next one since we're done with the primary menu. What about advertisement block? About the advertisement block, well, this advertisement, you can just remove it or display any other brand ads that you've affiliated. So yeah, that's it actually. But first, don't forget to just enable it. And you can also add image URL here as well, okay? What about news sticker section? Again, the most important ingredient for your news website is news sticker. It actually highlights the news at the top of the page, just above the main banner. So in order to use that, make sure you enable news sticker option here. After you've enabled it, you can then configure settings. By the way, do you want your ticker to be shown on home page or all the pages? It's totally up to you, right? So if you click on the all page, it's going to be displayed everywhere else. All right. Let me just click one post and show it to you guys. Now this sticker also get displayed here as well. If you toggle it off, it's not going to be displayed anymore. You see the difference, right? Let me head back to the home. Let me toggle it back on. By the way, have you been wondering like what kind of posts are being displayed for the news sticker section? It's totally up to you. You can either choose to display them categorically like I mentioned before, but how do you do that? All you gotta do is on the sticker categories, just search one of your categories that you've created, and you want to apply some more filters, then you can do that as well, you know, for today, this month, last week, this month, or last month. Totally up to you if you want to apply the filters. You also have the autonomy to add the limits for number of posts that get displayed for the news sticker section as well. That's it. Under the design tab, you can again change the layout and the label background color as well. Now we are done with the header settings. Let us quickly move on to the front page settings. I think we have discussed the majority of the front page blocks. I'm just quickly gonna move on to the reorder section. It allows you to sort of reorder the front page blocks in any order of your preference. If you want to display the top full width section at the bottom, you can do that. This top width will be displayed on the bottom, at the bottom. You can also choose to click on this eye icon to disable or hide the display for that particular section. If you choose to hide them all, they are all going to be disappeared from your front page except this one. You see that? What about if you disable that or you hide that as well? The only thing that's going to be displayed is your main banner, and you cannot disable that, or you cannot hide that. So you know the drill, right? Let me just unhide all of them again. Okay, so let us move on to the next section, which is the inner page settings. Like the name suggests, you can actually say configure settings for archive pages, single post, and 404 custom error page as well. What about the archive space again? I think I should not define the archive space because I've already done it just a few minutes before. I'm sure you know it by now. Now, in order to change the layout, let me just hit quickly to the crime category archives page, and in order to change the layout, there are 3 layouts given. You can choose any one of them. If you choose the layout number 2, the layout's going to be changed. How do you want to display them? The page style. Do you want to display it in a classic style? You can also do that by clicking on the classic drop-down menu like that, or you can just display it in a list. You can also actually change the post content type by clicking on the content. When you click that, instead of this excerpt, the entire content is going to be displayed in your archives page. You don't want that, right? It's kind of really messy. So let me just click on the excerpt for now. You see that it's very messy, right? So just click on this excerpt option. You also have an option to configure and change the pagination type. Do you want it to be numeric, default? Since I have only 5 categories or 5 posts belonging to this category, I don't have any pagination. If you had created multiple posts, more than 10, 15, you can actually display the pagination type here. Since I only have 5 posts for these categories, there are only 5 posts displayed here without any pagination. You can change that as well. You can also manage the read more button, which is visible here by clicking on manage read more button. You can change some style. That's it. On a design tab, you can actually set the order for the post elements or the meta elements as well. Let me just do that for you. If you want to display the title just after the meta, then you can do that as well. Do you see that? How the meta is displayed at the first and the title. You can just play with it. You can display these excerpt of the categories option. Alright, that's how it's going to be displayed. If you want to reorder or reshuffle the meta elements as well, you can do that as well. Default order is author, comments, published date, and tagged. You can just play with it. Let me just display author name at last. The empty test admin is going to be displayed at last after tag prime. Just bear on. Do you see that? Actually, yeah, just before tag, because it's not displayed at the last. You can just choose to display at the last as well. Let me display published date at the first. Yes, that's how you're gonna reshuffle the order for the elements. You can also do that for single post elements as well. Just head on to the single post elements. First of all, let me just click one post. You can change the single post layout. They have altogether 4 layouts given. You can just choose any one according to your preference. Let me just select layout number 3. This is how layout number 3 is going to be displayed. On the design tab, like I mentioned before, you can just play with the settings of the reordering elements. For post elements, you can reshuffle them by sliding on top of each other, dragging and dropping them in the required position. Do you see that? First categories is displayed, this crime, and then the title is displayed, and then the featured image is displayed, and then the meta is displayed. Alright, what about the post elements? Meta elements. Meta elements, well, the default value are date, author, comment, and tagged. If you want to display the date at last, you can just drag and drop them at last. Let me just select layout number 1 and make it easy for you guys. Now, do you see that the featured image is actually displayed after categories, title, and is displayed at the 3rd position. You can always change that by drag and dropping them in your required position. Now, the category is displayed at first, and then the featured image. Just again publish the button, and you're good to go. What about the author box? You can also choose to change the setting for your author box. This one, there are 2 layouts. You can choose any one. Let me just choose layout number 1. Then there's a option for navigation as well. Like you see this previous button. So actually this navigation setting allows you to configure the setting for navigation either within the same category or within the same tag. If you choose category, then if you're going to be navigated within the same categories. For example, this post belongs to the crime category, and there are altogether 5 posts. So if you click on this previous button or link, you're going to be navigated to the previous post of the same category. What if you choose the same tag option? You're going to be again prompted to the same tag. All right. You can also disable this enable navigation table as well. Let me just toggle it back on. Yeah, that's how they're going to be displayed. By the way, did you guys notice this next label didn't get displayed here? And you might be wondering why. Well, if your post is the last one in your category list, then there's no next option, right? If you click on this previous button, second last post belonging to this crime category, then there's a next post as well. So yeah, just to clear the air of confusion, I just dropped it back. Now let us move on to the next part, which is related post. Now it's a very crucial part. After your reader is done reading your post, they might want to navigate to the next part, and you can actually allow them to read some of the related posts as well. In order to do that, enable related post button, just toggle it on, which is toggled on already. And you can also choose to select or edit a different title for related post. Let me just write related articles. All right. And by the way, do you want to display again the related articles by category or by tags? That's totally up to you, but I've selected category by default. You can also increase up to 4 posts that gets displayed here. You can add 4 rows, 4 posts. Yeah, totally up to you. Let me just display 3 rows and 4 posts per row. All right. Let me just display section and pop-ups. Let me just toggle that off, and you see that there are actually 4 related articles displayed here. Now you might be wondering, since I've selected 3 rows and there's only 1 row that gets displayed, because there are altogether only 5 posts belonging to this category. If you have created 15 or 16 articles belonging to this particular category, then you would have 3 different rows and 4 posts per row. That's the rule actually. And you can also choose to change the different layout. This looks much better than the second one. So yeah, do you want to display it at the content area or after the content area? You can change the anti-section placement as well. So yeah, that's related post for you guys. You can also enable display section on pop-up to display them on a pop-up like was displayed before, right? So that's related post for you guys. I think we're done with both of them. Now let's get on to the 404 error page. Now the chances are when your user try to reference a URL that's not in your web page or your website already, then they'll be prompted to a 404 custom error page. You want that error page to be relevant, if a user is searching something and if you don't find any relevant resources, you want them to navigate to something similar to what they were looking for. Actually, you can do that by customizing like a 404 error section. Now, how do you want to display them? There are 2 page types. You can either display normal page or a blank page. You can choose the page caption, which is 404 by default. You can also change the content for the page title as well. And then that's how it's going to be displayed. It looks like nothing was found as a location. Maybe try one of the links below a search. And you can enable a search box and buttons, and you can also add a button label that will navigate them to the home page. You can add link here, and you can add one more button and add the link there as well. So that's custom error page for you. You can also set the background image for your error page. by clicking or selecting the image from your media library or uploading altogether new library, image at once. You can also add 2 buttons and their colors here. So yeah, that's actually, how your 404 error page looks like. There are 2 buttons that I've added. You can change the color, the hover color. There's a 404 page, is the title. There's a source button. Yeah, that's how you set up your 404 error page for your website. All right. Now, what's remaining? We have footer settings at last, but not the least. Altogether, there are 4 different widget area layout for your bottom area footer. As you can see here, that it's just head back to the home page for now. After you're prompted at the home page, you can actually have a look at the footer. By default, we've selected widget area layout number 4 that accommodates 4 different footer. After you've enabled footer main area and selected the layout number 4, you can actually add 4 different layouts at your footer location. You can actually design, change the color. You can also choose to add an image, totally up to your choice. You can change the text color from here, right? It's totally up to you again. Customizes as your preference. Now, what do we have next? The bottom area. By the way, you might be wondering, you have set the footer layout already, but how do you add the content? You can either click on the pencil icon here. There are 4 pencil icons you can individually add by clicking on those pencil icons, or you can just hit towards the widget section, click on the footer column 1, and this is actually where you can add your footer content for your first column. If you want to add your content in the second column, you can do likewise from footer column 2, 3, and 4. Here are the meta links. And after you've done setting up your footer, don't forget to click on the publish button. There's actually one more footer. There's a bottom area footer where you can add bottom here for content as well.